almost ashamed to talk about this topic. Somebody's got to do it. Is this what we've come to? Seriously? Oh, excuse me for being so rude. Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Lancescurv Show podcast. And this is really a strange one here. It really is. And while we talk about the music goes on, I have to do a little bit of editing. I have a little something to do here. Oscars are becoming quite a clown show, if I may ask, or I may add. All right, we'll let this one go. It's an edit that's a little too deep. We'll let it go. We'll let it go. Anyway, let bygones be bygones. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Lancescurv Show podcast. Okay, music. Okay, I know you want to get a little attention, but come on now. Don't be a mic hog. Well, like I said, this is Yala. I fell out last night. I'm so sorry. Militia Hare, welcome. This is not going to be like a 3, 4, 5, 6 hour show. This is just going to be something I'm going to hit up for an hour every single night. We jump right on the point. And, you know, the whole world is speaking about Will Smith and what he did with Chris Rock. And we got into it. I'm not going to make this another repeat of the whole Will Smith thing, but I just find it funny that, you know, this is something that they're putting out there. What? Let me ask you something. Why is it always black folks that like are always at the helm of something happening? We're supposed to be so much of a percentage of the population, but it's always us. I mean, come on. This is like the hood. I mean, the Oscars are turning into the hood. It's the hood, for real. You have one brother walk up to another brother and punch him out and say, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. This is what you hear in the hood. You're laying down in an apartment, half asleep. All of a sudden, you wake up and you hear this. You don't even get up to look to see who it is because you hear these things all the time. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. But then again, at the same time, usually that same wife is screwing around with somebody else and he knows it. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, the hood. Now you're sitting here and you have Venus Williams. No biggie. Her titty pops out. Her nipple pops out. The brown part comes. Yeah, exactly, Oyala. The hood Oscars. That's what they need to call it for this year, the hood Oscars. Because, I mean, so what? I mean, like, is it really news? I mean, don't think I'm sitting here trying to get hits. But I need to talk about this. Is all this stuff staged? Did we have it like this years ago? So as black people start getting, I'm not blaming black folks now, but it's like they're manipulating us. Like, okay, well, for this year, you know, you have to have a wardrobe malfunction, just like Janet Jackson had back in the Super Bowl, back so many years ago. And you have to punch Chris Rock in the mouth, and he's not even going to put his hands up defensively as any black man would. What's going on? Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about Venus Williams' left titty all night. I put that up because some people would just come just for that. But we're going to speak sensible. Exactly, Linda. Distraction tactics. And it is getting ratchet. It's crazy. But then you see, we've been made to be ratchet. And I'm not saying anybody here, but too many of us, exactly, Ms. D Nice, we're still the clowns. We're still the minstrels. We still are the ones at the helm of buffoonery. And we're so glad to be there. And see, the thing is, like, people say, well, Venus and Serena, they have their money, and Will Smith is at the top of his game, and they're still puppets. And again, I'm not hating on anybody's success because they got way more money than I do. Let me tell you something. They probably got a tricycle in their front yard that's like costs so much more than what I have in my whole bank account right now. Okay? So I'm not even trying to front. I'm not mad at that. I'm happy. There's all different lanes of happiness. You can find your own lane. I'm not mad at anybody, but I'm from a different perspective here, just being out in the motherland and looking at America from a distance. Like I always use that analogy where if your nose is on the picture and it's a big picture, like say 6 feet across, and your nose is touching it, you can't really appreciate that picture because you're too close to it. Angie Love. Yes, exactly. Exactly. You know? Oh, you're right. Okay, Lady Tracy Bond, 007. Doo-doop, doo-doop, doo-doo-doop. Yeah, we're always that. And see, us who, not the ones who are aware like us in the chat room here, but those of us who may not be aware, we don't understand, like, from what we see as a projection. It's an investment for the powers that be. We look at them, oh, Serena Williams is making this money. She's famous. And whoever it is in the middle, I'm quite sure she's somebody famous too, or maybe another sister. I don't know, a friend. But then we have Venus on the other side. Look, your titties are hanging out anyway. What did you expect? Don't cover it now. Just pull it out. Kevin Witterbaum, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is it Witterburn or Witterbaum? I think it's Witterburn. Thank you. Yeah, it really is laughable. Linda Straight buffoonery, yes. Yes, it is. And we focus on that. And people are going to say, well, you're talking about it, you're focusing on it. No, I'm focusing on the fact that this is something irrelevant that we don't need to be focusing on. What about the hungry kids in America? And I'm saying in America, yes, we can say the whole wide world, but America is the first one to go jump and want to help everybody and ain't got enough money to pay their own damn bills. That's like the man at the club trying to woo a woman over with the mortgage money. He got a wife at home hungry, but he got the mortgage money or the rent money, and he's trying to impress her at the club and spending it all up just so he can get some poontang. Our priorities are not straight. And then you fight every 4 years to vote people in like it's going to change your life. Like it's really going to change your life. And the Republicans and the Democrats, and Biden and this one and Trump and whatever. And you're like, nobody here who listens to this show has sense. I'm just going to say it. I've decided to just be me now. I'm not going to even be polite anymore. But some of y'all out here are straight fools. There's a reason why stupid is in the dictionary. And some of you out here, they need to put your face to represent what stupid is. Because some of y'all are straight stupid. What the hell is wrong with you? We're focused on the wrong things, and they parade around and serenade our subconscious minds. And the next day at work around the water cooler, because black folks don't get around the water cooler with white folks. White folks are there, they stay away because they know that's just a white conversation. We can't, sort of slave rules, unwritten rules here. You wait till they go, and when black folks go around the water cooler, this is what they talk about. And what's the symbolism in this whole thing? I'm gonna dig deep, and it could be stupid. Maybe I'm stupid. We got Will Smith fighting, punching Chris Rock. Okay, it's staged. This whole titty thing could be staged. Let's just say it's staged, right? What's the symbolism of a black woman's breast popping out, or part of it, the nipple? I don't understand it. You see her titties anyway. I mean, come on, y'all. A titty. You came into this world sucking a titty. The titty has been sexualized. I understand that. So we have to make sure to cover our titties. But it's a titty, it's life. And it's a black woman's breast. What's the symbolism in a black woman's breast at this particular point in our life, in our history, and what's going on in the world? Is this some kind of peace offering of comfort? Is she trying to elect herself to be the modern day mammy? Because the symbolism of offering your breast is a life-giving thing with life-giving substances inside of it. In a time of great death, destruction, hunger, murder, confusion, it's always us that has to offer the comfort to Massa. It hit me minutes before we did this. I was going to talk about a few other things. When I saw this, I said, I threw together this banner real quick, made the title. And you know, people in the comment section later on that don't even listen to the show, Lance, you're really sinking down. I mean, come on now. You're much better than that. Here we have a black revolution going on, and you're doing shows about Venus Williams' titty. Well, if she whipped it out on you, it would freeze you for a second. That's the power of the breast. Not even from a sexual standpoint, but when you a baby and you hungry, you looking for some titties. Okay? So we still got that wiring in the back of our mind. But why is it that we have to be the ones to bring comfort to the world when the world goes crazy and it's not us that did it? Why is it that mammy, that the slave master came home to? He went and kissed his wife on the cheek and sat down and talked with her for a little while until she dozed off, but you know where he was going to get what he wanted to get. He's knocking on, not even knocking. She expected it. She just pushed the door open and get his comfort. You go all to major urban cities across America, whether it's New York or Los Angeles or Dallas or Miami or Atlanta. You see black women with little white babies taken care of them as nannies. And them little white babies, they develop feelings toward that black woman. This is why some of the ones that are younger coming up in those situations, they just have a feeling toward them. Like the white man that was at the club, the plus 233 bar and grill down here in Accra. He couldn't sit down. All of these black women around dancing. And he had to prove to them that I have rhythm, even though he proved otherwise. I have to prove to them that we're all one. Yeah, when you say so, when you're in Africa or the Caribbean and you want to party and you want to be nice to everybody, but I bet you if you go back to the UK or America as the supervisor or the CEO over that place that business that you run, I bet you're a prick. But you want to come somewhere else and act so nice. See, the magic of the black woman is more than just a titty. But they want to frame it the way they want to frame it. And if this was staged, shame on you, Venus Williams. If it wasn't, then it happened. But if it wasn't, why were you dressed like that? Why do we always, our sisters, not all of them? No, not all of them. I'm not going to say cover up how sexy you are because you can put a burlap sack on and we'll see what you got. And here we have these white women trying to get dark, but they don't like you, the Karens. Doing their little kickbacks, getting their little injections. And I found out recently, let me see if I can dig this up on my phone. Let me see. I sent this particular link to, I won't say who it was. We had a conversation about butts and what these Ghanaian women are doing to their butts to make them like just so like juicy and round. They're doing some things, trust me. It's natural to a point, but trust me. Okay, here it is. Let me read. I'm not going to read the whole article. But there's one thing. I mean, you got black women trying to do stuff to their butts. They born. I mean, that's an amenity that comes standard. Okay, let me. Oh God, did I open up the wrong thing? Hold on. Where is this thing? Okay, let's go down on this thing here now. Let me let it load up. It's just taking a sweet time. I got off of it. Okay, here we go. Let me read this thing. Where's this thing? Okay, here it is. Okay, there's one part. There are like 5 different methods that they're using. Vacuum therapy, progesterone injections, of course, the Brazilian butt lift. And there was one that was like, I never heard before. I'm not trying, wood therapy. Like you have this thing like a, the dough rolling pin, right? But it has little bumps on it and you roll it over the butt. And here in Ghana, you have butt massage centers. And these are not like clean. I'm not saying it's dirty, But these are not like a doctor's office and whatnot. No, it's just a little spot in the neighborhood. I've seen them cross town on the other side of a crowd. I'm going to take pictures of them. When I see it, I'm going to go inside and talk to the person who owns it. Because women go in there and they do these things to their butt. I'm not knocking them, but it's just a little too extra. Now, here it is. Here's the one that bugged me out. And I'll get back on the topic. Seasoning cubes, y'all. Seasoning cubes. I'm going to read it right after the whole thing. Yes, you read right. Seasoning cubes. It is believed that some African women these days resort to the use of food seasoning, particularly, how do you pronounce it? Maggi cubes. It's Maggi. Maggi cubes as a butt enhancement concoction. The practice, which started in Congo and then Nigeria, is gradually creeping into Ghana. The Maggi cube, which is meant for cooking, is either used as a suppository or mixed with chicken stock mixture, which is directly injected by women into their butt. Given the health hazards involved in this practice, awareness campaigns have been conducted, and several Ghanaian doctors have warned against such practice and the dangers involved. And then they go on to speak about creams and pills. I'll read that. It's just a paragraph. The introduction of butt enhancement pills and creams for having a perfect butt has become common in Ghana, particularly on social media. There have been an influx of all sorts of unregulated drugs on social media with high patronage from women, particularly the desperate ones. The desperate ones. Wow. Hi, I'm a desperate one. In the quest for a bigger and fuller butt, these women opt for these products, which help to increase the production of fatty tissue in the targeted area where they are applied or administered. Let me tell you something, right? This is the thing. And there were 3 more on there, and I'm going to find it and I'll drop it in the comment section right now. You know, I'm not feeling too technical right now. But why? I've told you about the devastating shapes that these women have out here. And I'm not going to say poverty level, because see, you can be here and be poor and not look poor. The young ladies and the young men here who you would classify as poor, they live on their own land, they grow their own food, and you go out into the villages. Some of them never tasted McDonald's or KFC or a soda, working in the sun all day, cultivating their meals and on the farm. And I'm not stereotyping now, right? But your body will look a certain way when you just live like this from birth. But it's to show you the projected value on or what they think is something of value, because I'll find a man faster. Or I'll be more. Look, if you're a dude and you own a company and you see some woman, some old scraggly white woman rolling in there, I'm qualified just like this woman, and I think I should get the job. And you got a sister with curves like that, you don't want to look at that white woman. You're going to hire that sister if she's qualified. You're going to hire her anyway. We're going to be on code. But what I'm saying is that a lot of what we are in our mind and what we think we should be comes from, why are we so insecure with ourselves? And that goes for the men too. I'm leaning toward the women tonight, but I'm not spanking them. I'm just saying, for men and women, why as a race are we so insecure with the very thing we dominate? I bet you if some little flat white woman, her little 2-dimensional titty popped out, it wouldn't be news. It wouldn't be news. But it's something about the black woman that it becomes news, because white folks are focused and so fascinated with the sexuality of the black man and woman all over the world. No matter where you are, you're black, you're African. Let's just get that straight. So I know I'm gonna get a few comments. You're not African. You're not, you're having people just beat down the same old thing. Just be mad. I'm gonna delete you and block you. That's how we do. I don't want to hear it. But why is it that society, the system, the others, they will hate you? They will say how big your lips are. They will say how wide your nose is. They will say how big your butt is. They will say how dark you are, how kinky your hair is. But yet they're the first ones, when ain't nobody around, want to sleep with you, want to lay down with you, want to have sex with you. and do all kind of crazy stuff and then back out like it never happened, slip you a few dollars, or if you're in power over them, you know to keep quiet. It's our power, it's our life force. So because of that, Venus Williams' titty falling out, whether it's staged or not, becomes news because there's so many of them fascinated because they might have saw that titty when they were a kid being taken care of by a nanny. They might have been nursed on that titty. And it's almost envious because you see, you have these white women, and it's not just white women, black women and others have adopted this mentality that they're not good enough. So we following behind them. I'd rather you not, sisters, have any plastic surgery. What you need plastic surgery for? That's going to make your nipples work better when it's sucked on in a sexual manner? No, your man ain't complaining. But these white women out here who started all this stuff, they are women, they're born female, but they're really women in drag. They ain't no different than a man trying to dress up, cross-dress, and pretend he's a woman. Well, they ain't really got no shelf life. Their childbirth rates are dropping. They're no better than a fake plant sitting up in the corner. You got plants on the right side of the room, and you got that fake plant, that synthetic plastic or whatever it is. You see flies buzzing around the room. You never see it land on the fake plant. You only see it land on the real thing. Just like the experiment that was done on Facebook, and you had the two corn cobs sitting up. One was GMO, one was real. And the real one got eaten down by the bugs, and the other one didn't get touched. So for a black woman's real titty that's not done any surgery and it's popping out, ooh. And it's big news because the world is hungry for some nurturing. And it's always us that has to come and heal these people. See, I can go into it deeper on a personal level and say some things, but I'm not going to blow certain people up. I know people out there, and I'll say it this way, who are of the other persuasion. And without the black man or black woman in their proximity, I'm not saying relationship, but that friendship, that closeness, it's not really a friendship, it's just an uneven exchange, but we're going to say it that way. When you remove that person from that pink parasite's proximity, they get to be a little more unstable. See, because when they come home and they get on the phone, or the person lives in to clean their home or take care of their kids, that has been a staple to hold that household down. And when you remove that melanated energy, their whole world really falls apart. So when they tell us to go back to Africa, they don't really mean that. They scared. They're using reverse psychology. It's like a man who's insecure and his wife says, well, I think I'm going to get a divorce. Go ahead and get your damn divorce. And he's saying this, saying, oh, God, please, I don't want you to divorce me. I can't imagine you being with another man. I can't imagine you being with someone else. But that's the way it is. So they say this thing, but they know that we are the thread that holds together the suit of society. The sixth suit that they created, we're holding it together. We don't want to. Some of us do. Because we're dumb. We're stupid. Those of us who are smart want to get away from this mess. Because you see, as I walk down the street here in Accra, in Ghana, and move about all over, it is no big thing to see a black woman's titty. You know why? Because when they have a child, they could be in the market, they could be on the bus, they could be sitting down on a bench somewhere, and you could be talking to them. And they're not going to break the gaze with your eyes if you ask them directions. It happened to me the other day. I had to get used to it. Lady was talking to me about how to get down to another side of town and the best way to get over there. I wasn't going to take an Uber. I was going to go the cheap way and take the Chocho, take the van. I had time. And plus I wanted to see the area even better. So the constant stops would have served my purpose to observe the stores and different places of business that were there. Because even though I live here for good, I'm still in tourist mode. This place has a wow factor for me, and it's so daggone big, it'll have a wow factor for the next 100 years. I hope to be around, but you know how it goes. So you know what? I'm not worried about that. We're going to enjoy every day. But when she was talking to me, I turned around. She looked me dead in the eye. I forgot she had the child. She just pulled out a titty. And, you know, I thought it was like a B cup. I wasn't really like a titty auditor. Like, well, I'm walking around trying to tell you what size cup you have. But it's like, ba-boom, a D. Like, whoa. And the child wasn't even in line of sight of the nipple because he was laying back and she had him in the left hand. And it was her right titty that came out. It swung to the right. The child opened up his mouth like it was titty remote control. Child, and so she just plop. And he went to town. No big thing. That day I saw about 7 titties before I came home. And I guess people who think this way with a sexualized titty, it would blow their minds. But it's a nurturing thing. So what did this mean in the Oscars? What's the symbolism behind it? I want to get everybody's opinion on it because even after this show is over, but what's your opinion on this? What does it mean? And why us? There's something about us. You know, yeah, look at that. I haven't been looking at the chat room, but I'll look at it now. And I missed some things. And if you greeted me, you know, when I get into the zone like that, I kind of look away. I'll look later on. But Raw Reality says here, let me just highlight it. He says, when I heard that, I said that they're trying to draw Black people's energy via our attention. Well, they got what they wanted with this incident in the Will Smith, Chris Rock incident. They sure did. So why are they, okay, let's pull up a next one. All right. That's normal in the Caribbean. Take out the breast and feed the babies. Right. I see animals walking around. I see goats and I see dogs. And, you know, after they give birth, the breasts are hanging down even right before and they're suckling on it. So what's wrong with that? But, you know, like I said, the cross-dressers, those white women who want to be Black women and want to have the curves that they ridiculed the Black women for when they were younger, they put all this fake stuff up. They're like the fake plant that's in your house, or you have all these fake plants by your door in the front, and you're going to tell me that you're into gardening. No, you picked that bad boy up from Walmart and plunked it down. You never watered it. You just have to dust it off when the dust collects up on it. It's fake. It's fake. Yeah, exactly. Right, with just a wrap around their waist. Who wants to be sweaty, holding up titties in their clothes and it's hot? Let them free. After a while, you get used to it. But here in America, I'm saying here in America, and I'm going to cry, right? But in America, it has become so sexualized. I mean, I've fallen victim to that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not trying to get away from that all the way either, but I understand what it is because the female body is very beautiful. Even when you're a little heavy or you're slender, it's the energy behind it. And like I said, is this an attempt to cheapen our sister's beauty?
Hey, okay. I'm Natasha Cunningham.
Where the hell is this coming from?
Photoshop
this been happening to me all night.
There are a million.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get rid of this. I think it's one site that's bringing on this noise. Like, you know, you ever pull up a site and it's quiet, right? You got your volume turned up. You pull up a site. You get up and go to the bathroom, go to the kitchen or something like that. And all of a sudden, this noise, it's like, wait a second, it's a man's voice saying, whoa, somebody's in here? Well, that's just what happened. That's what you just heard. Scared the mess. I almost ran away from the podcast. Yeah, like you said, Kwame, great point. Great point. Oscars is a white supremacy thing to make us Africans clowns. Well, anything that they have. And welcome, Queen Marat, Indigo King, Raw Reality, Shade TBD, Libby Lou. I didn't get everybody. Oyala, of course. But, okay, let me see here. If you notice, the majority of women on the blood carpet, mostly scantily clad, are our women. Yes. Yes. I never saw some Jewish. I'm not saying Jewish. You know, something's like ish. I see the color of that car. It's bluish. It's not really blue. It's bluish. You're all read between the lines. You know what I'm saying. It's Jewish. But you never see them parading their women around like that. Where's the place up there? Spring Valley. Spring Valley, and I told this story before, you know. Okay, boom. I'm gonna read off two more. I believe that all of those incidents, including the Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, was staged to distract us from the economy that these devils are crashing. Of course, if you listened to the show before with Brother Dave, who broke it down, it was fabulous what he was saying. And that's what it was all about the American dollar. It's a done deal. Use a dollar to get what you can while it still has some value because it's done with. It's through. And that's worse than a nuclear bomb. I mean, I'm glad that it kind of leans toward not that happening. Who wants nuclear warfare? But when that dollar crashes all the way, guess what? Folks gonna be bugging out. Do you really think about that though? And he was leaving, you know, he had to go. But if you can say you have $100 now, but that $100 when that dollar crashes, it's not gonna be $100, it's just gonna be paper. And I have to bring it up and say it. People say, oh, you're bringing up Elijah Muhammad. No, he said it years ago. There's going to come a time in America where money will be on the ground and you'll step past it because it's not worth anything. I got to give credit where credit is due. If an alcoholic gives me the right directions to go where I'm going, I got to give him credit for giving me the right directions. I can't say I can't give him credit because he's an alcoholic. And they say with Elijah Muhammad and the secretaries, the young girls, whatever. Look, the man did a lot of good, business-wise, everything else. Like I said, there's a lot of religious leaders out here now that's royally screwing you and not even doing nothing for the people. Okay? So we won't get into that thing. But they always have to bring us down on that level, like the plantation level, where all we're good for is serving their needs. And they see all women a certain way, and it pisses me off. Why? The only one that looked like she got some sense is the one sitting in the middle. You know what I mean? That's the only one that looked like she got some sense. And really and truly, to be honest, I don't know why we think that we're empowered when we're exposing ourselves. Come on now. I'm not even just getting on the women. I'm getting on the men too. You see? Yeah, look at that. Angie Love. After all that has transpired, especially over the last 2 years, I will never understand why our people continue to support these demonic events. I didn't even know the Oscars were going on. And I'm not saying I'm supposed to know, but doing what I do as a hobby, I'm supposed to keep up with things. So when things like this happen ahead of time, that doesn't mean I'm supposed to sit there and watch it. I'm not going to do that. I'll talk about it, but I got to have a deeper point to make when I see these things. But I'm not one running that world down. I wasn't like that when I was even in America. Super Bowl comes around. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. When does it happen? Oh, it happened last week. Oh, I didn't know. That's the way I am. But why is it that they have to stage us this way? Because really and truly, I ain't gonna lie. If you really look at them and look at their expressions, they especially Venus, she just looks, I don't know, like she's stressed, like something's wrong. Like there's more to it than meets the eye. But why do they have to sit out here like this? And like I was saying about Spring Valley, there was a Jewish man when I used to drive the dollar van on Sutphin Boulevard in Jamaica, Queens, the Q9 route mostly, the Q6, the Q40. The Q6 was like, you're asking to get robbed. But the Q9, I grew up in that area and I knew it. I knew the people. And we would park up by the fish market right up there on, was it 94th or 93rd? I'm forgetting, but the block below Jamaica Avenue. We'd park right there by the fish market and we'd line up. We had order. And as people got off the subway, they would hop in the vans. Everybody knew who we were. My van was named Sir Lance for those who might run across this podcast and not know me without any hair. I had hair then, so I decided to take it off. I don't know what's happening now. I'm not trying to find out. I just keep it shaved. But there was a guy named Frankel, stood across the street near the strip bar, and he was staring over by the dollar vans every Sunday for a couple of hours. And like, yo, we need to watch that guy. He looked like one of them guys that would just like sit there for a while, a couple of weeks and stare at you and bust out with a machine gun for whatever reason in his head. So we watched him. So one day on this particular Sunday, after about 3 months of this every Sunday, because I had worked 7 days a week and it was good money out there. It was a lot of good money out there. He walked over across the street. And so we were joking. Nobody wanted to swing their head around. Yo, he's coming. Don't look now. Don't look now. We don't want him to realize that we're watching him. You know, yo, Lance, man, I bet you he's coming for you. And I'm like, man, get out of here. I don't know that guy. And he came over and stood about 6 feet away from us. It was about 5 of us. And then some of the other brothers kind of like got next to him and behind him just in case he whipped out a machine gun because we were kind of paranoid with that. And he pointed to me. Oh, God, it's always where it's me. So he said, listen, I would like to talk to you. And I'm like, he was older. He was like about 50 something and not very well cared for. He was straight gray. He looked like Robert De Niro, real old, like he is now. But he had like a beard and everything. I swear he looked like Robert De Niro. And his breath stunk real bad. I think, oh, this ain't going to be a long conversation. I'm going to inhale 3 feet behind and then come back into the conversation because I don't want him to catch me on the inhale when he's talking. Like them dogs, when they realize, the male dogs, they realize the dog they sniffing is a male. I want nothing to do with you. I ain't no homo dog. So anyway, he asked me if he can utilize the services of my van. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't do no homo business, you know, for a day. And he would pay me. And most of the time I wouldn't even be driving. He just wanted to go back to Spring Valley to where he lived. And I was suspect. Like, it took you 3 months to come and ask me that? And I said, why are you asking now? And I spilled the beans. I said, you're standing over there for 3 months. What's up? He said, I had a very bad incident with my prior driver. And he was a nervous dude. So I said, okay, I can believe this. So I kind of amped up my masculinity around him. I'm like, yeah, man, you come with me, you safe. But if you try something, trust me, I'm the last person you want to deal with, right? So he said, listen, I'm a married man. I'm going to be honest, but things aren't the way they used to be. I'm like, stop using that excuse. Anyway, I will give you $500 and a little more at the end of the day. I was like, $500, and my van doesn't have to move. You see, to get that $500, I had to do so much driving all day. But the smart thing is I'm going with you and I'm parking the van. So where do you want to go? He wanted to go into the titty bars, among other things. And so I said, okay, no problem. So we went in mixed neighborhoods. We went in mainly mixed neighborhoods where mixed establishments, because certain days he liked this, like that. He just sit there. And he also had Tourette's. Did I tell you all about that one? Yo, got to remember that story. So here I am. I mean, I'm cool. I might have known some of the girls and went to school with them or something like that. Everybody knew me. I'm driving the van in the street, hustling in the street, making legitimate money. I've always done things where I was around a lot of people. So it's no problem because I'm a people person. I'll talk an auditorium's ears off. Well, Lance, we can't take it. It's been 8 hours. You ain't coming for no air. So I go in there and I actually did know 2 of the girls. That made them feel good. Oh, you know them? Did you? Did you? No. I know them. I went to school with them. Wasn't like that. I was cool with their brothers. So he's sitting there and he was getting a lap dance. And as soon as this, it was a black woman, but she was a Spanish-speaking black woman from probably the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, Dominican. I don't know. Brazil, I don't know. But she wasn't American born, but she's a black woman. So that's the more concern I have. And I'm looking at him like, wait a second. He's using me to come and bring him to my sisters. I got mad for a second when I saw him spread the love to the other ones, right? He didn't hang with the white ones too much because their backsides are 2-dimensional. See, they fly or they travel at a lower rate than most black women because their backsides are 2-dimensional. All they got to do is lick a stamp and smack it on the right butt cheek, and they jump in the mailbox and they there before you. I only paid $2 to fly over to Amsterdam. How much did it take you? But anyway, every time a woman got near him and lap danced them and had their breast out, homeboy starts making noise. Whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, the hell was that? He had Tourette's, some kind of Tourette's. He just made noises though. He'd even when we weren't in the strip joint and we walk out in the street and there was a woman with a short dress or some tight jeans, you would know it. He was looking at him on the slide, said, no, whoop, whoop. And I said, let me look around. Oh, there she go. That's who he was looking at. So imagine him with his wife. He couldn't hold that in, so that's why he said he really didn't spend a lot of time with his wife, because she'd figure it out and smack him. But anyway, here's the bottom line. I realized that Spring Valley, I'm calling it out. It's in upstate New York, but it's not way up. Because you know when you go over the George Washington Bridge, you actually go into Jersey. And then you take the highway going up. And the borderline between New York and New Jersey is an imaginary line. It's the same landmass when you go to upstate. So then you cross back over into New York State. And you go up a little ways in this Spring Valley. It doesn't take long at all. But after you get in from Manhattan and cross over, then it takes a little while. But coming home, it's like, oh man, I got to go all the way down here and go back to Queens. But I'm counting money. You throw a little extra $200 on there. 5 and 2 is 7. I'm like, I have to come out here 2 days in a row to make this after gas. So I'm like, every time I saw him, it was on and popping. But you know what? He would never think of his Jewish women like that. It was him coming down into the city to look at our sisters or white women or Latino, whatever you want to call them. And that's if he was exclusively looking at black women, I wouldn't have did it. But he just a perv anyway, so let me make that money. But he would never, because, we would talk every now and then. I wasn't talking much with this guy because I think he was a creep. And so I said, how are the women in your neighborhood, in your community? What? I said, yeah. You like the women so much. I said, you have anything going on up there in Spring Valley? Spring Valley, let me tell you something, was spooky. Because when I was bringing him home at 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun came up, there was always this fog, a thick fog. You had to slow down. And you had all these Jewish men walking around that time of the morning with the black suits on, black outfits on. They got the cap on and they're Hasidic with the curls. I'm not going to say locks because their hair don't lock up. They try it, put toothpaste in there, wax, whatever they do, glue. I don't know. They're walking around, talking to each other real slow. But just walking, like, where are they going? And we're driving up, but he would never have me go to his house. But he got very angry when I brought that up. See, they protect their woman, or they intend to protect their woman, and they want to see their women being pure. Because in their mind, I guess sex is dirty, although they have sex to procreate. It's more like a business arrangement. We're going to have sex right now. Don't worry. I won't take too long. I'll actually masturbate. And at the point of orgasm, I'll just put it in you and come. I don't know. But they don't go on with all the other stuff that they like. The kinky stuff and all this other stuff. And they're very uptight. But one thing about them, they're going to protect their own. Black man, what happened to you? Really and truly, this is an outcry. Who told her to put that dress on? To the delight of who? Who said that dress looks good? Somebody said, oh, yes, the dress look good because the dress is hanging off and showing what you got. Why are we the way we are like that? Where it's okay. And some of us as black men feel proud when we have our sister next to us walking around half naked. Damn, girl, you look good tonight. And the amount of fabric that she used to make that dress couldn't even make a washcloth that you hold in your hand, barely covering stuff. Malfunctions all day and all night. And the beasts are out there just looking at them. And you're presenting this to the world. You don't respect your woman. Behind closed doors, do what you do. I'm as freaky as they come, but I'm not going to disrespect you in public. But I'm always going to tell the truth on what I see. You see what I mean? Yeah. A lot of us are twisted on a sexual level because we came up in a twisted place. I'm not going to knock you. I'm probably the most messed up sexual man in the world. No, I don't do no homo stuff, but I'm gone. I'm shot like a bulb. You don't keep a light bulb. That blue is gone. It's blown. I'm blown. Pun intended. What I mean to say is that look how messed up we are. And as beautiful as the women are out here with the beautiful shapes, and some of them are enhanced. They look enhanced, natural, out the box. They go do more. These brothers out here, they never turn around. They're used to it. Never turn. Damn, girl. If I see a guy across the street, anywhere here in a crowd, Of course, our little ways of walking and talking and mannerisms, we know each other. Come on now. Doesn't mean I'm throwing off on my brothers here. Or look, they know I'm from America. They know I'm not from here. As much as I try to blend in, dress down, they see this big head coming around the corner and the way I walk. They know I'm not from here. I won't even try to act like it no more, right? And I've never seen the brothers who were born and raised here turn around and say, damn, look at that girl's ass. But when I look across the street or down the block or in front of me and see some dude doing that, looking around, just even on a slide tip, I'm like, he ain't from here. He ain't from here. Because he's not used to this. And even when women go and do their thing and you see them, like if you go up in the country and you see them bending over to pick something up, they ain't bending over so you can get a look so you can come over and talk to them. They doing it because that's what they do. Because their mind is not twisted on a sexual level where everything is sex, 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 sex. Venus Williams, Serena, why? Why are you dressed this way? For who? Well, I can understand Serena. She laying up with one of them, so he loved it. He loved it. Why couldn't you do what your sister did and let your nipple fall out? I would have loved it. I would have loved to see all the men wanting you. That's how they think. That's how they think. That's how they think. They like their women to be used or looked at as a piece of meat, and they get turned on when they see the next man catching a heart on or lusting after them. It's something about that a lot of these white men love, and some of our sick brothers using you like a piece of meat. Like I said on the reel, I think I said it on the other show. If you out there, you single or you married, whatever you do, not your woman, man. Behind closed doors, yes, you have sexual taste. Yes, get into it deep. Find out what fetishes that you don't even know you have. Have fun. Do it. Fall asleep spent. Useless. Happy and throbbing. But do not your woman. I'm not saying, look, this is what I'm saying. If you're going to do some dirt, go out there and do it, man. I'm not condoning anybody who has anybody to go out there and do it. I'm just saying if you're single, whatever, but you say you get ready to marry this woman, you don't respect her if you go and bring her into certain things. And trust me, I've done a lot of things in my lifetime. And I've done a lot of crazy things in my lifetime. But at this point in my life, no. Your woman, and again, not to get back on the Will Smith thing, but come on, man. What's the guy's name? They said the name Augustine or August or whatever his name is, a singer that was in the entanglement with his wife. But all of a sudden you talk about, oh, keep my wife's name out your mouth. But with August, he didn't say nothing to him. Keep your penis out my wife's mouth. You ain't say nothing. So he twisted. They're puppets and they're gone. They're gutted and emptied out and hollow. They look like black people, but they don't have the essence anymore. They don't have the soul anymore. And the little bit of soul that they have left and the melanated energy that they have left, the little bit that they have left is on display. Because if you look at these pictures real close, you don't see the strings attached. But there are strings attached. There are alliances and allegiances to that dark world that people don't understand. I can't say I understand it. I can't say. You could sniff it. You stand around a bunch of people after church in the lobby and whatnot, and somebody farts. Nobody says nothing. Somebody farted. No, it wasn't me. Everybody pretending like it don't. I'll say it. Listen, something stink. What y'all eat? One of y'all farted. I was always a bad guy. Nah, something with this whole thing stinks. Yet we want to be a part of it. Yeah, I just looked at the chat room just for I was gone. Yeah, you're right, Linda. Makes them feel accomplished. Yeah, you're right, Raw Reality. Venus looks worse than Serena in that outfit. Yes, Lance, bring that up. Why Will did not go after August? Yeah, for banging his wife. I mean, really and truly, you have a wife, right? Now, I know how men can be. Like, okay, but I understand that. And I'm not condoning anything. It's hard being a possessor of a black penis. No excuse, but you got to learn how to handle that kind of power. And we're not talking about just sexual power, because so many of us as black men, that's the first thing we gravitate toward. on the corner ain't got no money in your pocket. Not that money is your God, but in that system, if you don't have it, you know, you ain't going to get too much respect. It shouldn't be about money, because in the natural world of the creator, money doesn't exist. Our value is in each other. But many of our sisters understand and know, guess what? Here they, and you know, you dressed up, you might not be driving, but you're heading toward public transportation, or you work near where you live and you're walking down the street and you have them brothers on the corner. I'm not stereotyping, because there's a lot of good brothers out here, have their own businesses, going to school, have aspirations, and are decent, and you're safe around them. As wild as my mind is, I am not going to take liberties with any woman around me to make her not feel safe. Even when I was wild, even when they were sitting next to me with the breasts and naked hanging out, if she didn't want me to go near her or touch her that way, it wasn't going to happen. I'll look, but it wasn't going to happen. I dare somebody to come into this room or come in the comment section and say otherwise. I never, that's one thing I pride myself on. If I say it ain't going to happen, it ain't going to happen. If I say, well, it might happen, or if you, it's on you, it'll happen if you say so. You can do all that you want. You can, my neck, my back, my, and my, you know, whatever. It ain't going to faze me, because that's just how I am. But some of us have no control. And some of us as Black men, the only form of power that we think we have is between our legs. So you walking to work doing the righteous thing. You might have children or an ailing mother or responsibilities or dreams and aspirations, and you're going for it because you know you need money to make this thing happen in this system. And you're looking nice. You're covered decently. You can't help this, how your hips sway. You're not putting on to it. You can't help it. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not even saying in a lust level, but how powerful the Black woman's physique is when she walks. And her hips are swaying, and you know inside is the future. She has eggs, she has ovaries. Her hair is catching the sun. The rays of the sun are going down into her system, down in her spine, and she looks real good. Her feet are touching the ground, not going to work, but just, she's so natural. She is life. She is power. She is Mother Earth. And all you can see is just the pleasure aspect of it. Hey, girl, you looking good this morning. What's your name? And they say the name, but they don't stop walking. They know what it is, and they still give you respect to even just greet you. They know what you want. The sisters know what's up with that. And they know what you are. They can tell, because there's something in their spirit that lets them know who's who. And some of these guys I hear good too. They're good liars. They can project and still fool some of the sisters. But then when they're too busy, they can't stop and talk with you. Their perception of the world and the time of the day, which is an artificial construct, but we still have to dance to that tune. They got no time to sit out there with you. You got something worthwhile you're doing. But guess what? When she don't stop and talk to you, and you're embarrassed because the other guys who are grabbing their dicks, the only source of power they think they have, hey, that bitch ain't nothing. Who you think you are? You ugly bitch. I hate to say the word like that, but I'm going to keep things real now from now on as we talk. You went from being beautiful and lovely to an ugly bitch. You see, we don't need to see our sisters that way. Even when we see our sisters that we may be looking to date, or we don't know, you know, that we meet them and say, okay, we're going to have a date. There's nothing wrong with having a date. Doesn't mean you're a whore if you date 5 men. You're only going to a dinner or a movie, or you're shopping together and you just want to check out the energy of that individual. What happened to that? We don't do that no more. But you as a man, when you see that woman coming towards you in a date, you're not going to embarrass her. Damn, girl, put something back on. Your titties are hanging out. No, you're going to follow through on the date, and there's a way to speak to her, a way to let her know she's more than just that she's cherished. And that don't mean you're going to be all uptight now, because she will have a nice hourglass shape or shapely legs or something that you're going to see that no matter what she put on. What you want to do, walk around with a cape like Dr. Strange or a burlap sack or something like that? No, you're going to see it, but you have to understand where the line, your imagination is one thing, But then on the other side, you know, we have what it is. And many of our sisters think that because of this indoctrination of living in America and being bombarded with sex, 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 titty hanging out, ass hanging out, videos. And y'all don't understand, those of you all who are of age, that it's a different time now. You look at a 20-year-old, if you're 60, and you count back, 5 years ago, that 20-year-old was only 15. 10 years ago, that 20-year-old was only 10. Well, when we were that age, we never thought that also, but it's different now. Because when you're 20 years old, you know everything. Even if you're not doing it, you know it. Because you can see it online. Ain't nothing. You can ask any question. Just like my dear friend Peggy, who I lost contact with. She lived in Orlando. She's a lawyer. Never met her face to face, and she lived around the corner from me. We met on AOL. It wasn't important that we meet each other. And we were going to meet, like, not some old whatever. She knew my spirit. And this was many years ago when I first moved down to Orlando, and we used to have some really deep conversations. And I wish, I can't remember her email address. I can't remember her phone number. It's just some people, sometime they're there, and slowly but surely they move out of your life and you don't even realize it. You say, damn, how can I let that happen? So oftentimes you find out that they're not here with us anymore. And that's even more of a heartbreak. Other times you can find them in Facebook and be like, I can't believe, girl, I got you. What's up? How you been doing? We got to catch up. I had one of those the other day. A sister that lives in Cleveland right now. And I met her on the bus. Platonic friendship. She knows Mrs. SCURV. She does massage therapy and came to the house. And, you know, what happened to us that we always got to throw titties in the mix? I'm saying it to be funny. Why has it always got to be something about that? Why can't it be, come to my house, I want you to meet my wife, let's sit down and have dinner? I've done that many a time when I scoped a person out. What happened to the wholesome way we treated each other? Men back in the day, back in the 30s and 40s and 20s, when they'd see a sister deep down, they had barbershop conversation. Man, that girl, man, she must be related to a lobster because all the weight is in the back. But she come in there and they're going to give her respect. Now, everybody wasn't a saint back in the day, but that was the kind of thing that I saw from single digit ages in the 60s, come up in the 70s, those men who were in the 30s and 40s in their prime, they were now in their 70s and 80s, and I saw how they carried themselves as gentlemen. Some of those guys had nowhere to go on Sunday, but guess what? They wore their Sunday best. They might have been ready from Saturday night, because Saturday in the day they were getting their hair trimmed. And they were talking with the other brothers, some sensible stuff. That's what I knew coming up. Because I was a little kid in the barbershop listening to these old guys. Like I said, they might have been 80 years old. If they were 80 years old in 1970, that means they were born in 1890. So I heard conversations that were from way back, and I remember all of them. I can't tell you where they are now. I know most of them have transitioned on, but we're slipping as a community. I don't mean community subdivision or an area code or a zip code, but as a people worldwide, global, you got to understand that you're part of something bigger. And yes, there is some sex appeal that we like when we see each other. Yes, it's there. I'm not going to deny it. But really, is that the only thing? Are you the kind of guy that sees the woman and tells her how beautiful she is only to get between her legs? What about true intimacy? I was speaking to someone about that the other day, about true intimacy. To hell with the sex. What happens when your dick don't work? The vagina never gets dry. And if it did, all you got to do is pat, pat, and you're ready to go. 88 years old if you want. But usually, you realize the importance of intimacy. Because how many times in your younger, wilder days, you were just so glad to get you some. And but when you look back, it was nothing. All you did was use your body and her body to masturbate with, but you didn't have any intimacy with her. You saw her body parts. You felt her body parts. You even tasted her body parts, but you didn't even know this woman. And you see it in the supermarket 2 years from now, and there's nothing there. because there wasn't nothing there in the first place. What happened to true intimacy? What happened to cuddling, sitting on the couch, watching TV? What happened to that? Yeah, you might have got a little erect, but it was fun. Feeling her head against yours and you under the covers, and you didn't mind if it was cold outside and a little chilly inside. You could have put up the heat, but you guaranteed to feel the warmth of your bodies under the covers, and you doze off on each other. And you might even, as an adult, go lay down in the bed next to each other and hug. Beautiful. She might get up and shower and leave and have something to do. Y'all didn't do nothing. Why are we afraid of each other? Because we don't have the right intentions anymore. You got to try to figure me out. I got to try to figure you out. Oh, you think he just want me for sex? And you, oh, I think she a gold digger. I think she might have something. Just to hug a woman and you inhale and you pick up the scent of a hairline where the pheromones are. Do you know how powerful that is? How intoxicating that is? You can't go in no department store and pull up any perfume more powerful than the scent that comes from a black woman's hairline. Come on now, let me not even go down below the waist. I'm gonna leave that for a late night show. That's heaven on earth. And look how they're displaying our heaven on earth. To me, really, my mind is deep and I'm gone sometime. I have a big imagination that will go further than what most people can understand. You had me 85%, but I think you tarted SCURV because I just can't see what you said. Me looking at these females, these sisters, and I have to include the one in the middle. She's not hanging out or whatever, but to me, they look like slaves on an auction block. I'm not saying they are. I would never say that. I don't think of them that way. But look at Venus. Like she damn near trying to cover herself. She could have pushed that titty in. Maybe she's trying to do it. But they look, the only one that don't look scared is one in the middle. But if you just don't look at them and just open your eye, they're on display. They look naked. They look like they're uncertain about what's about to happen just in life in general. And don't even ask me about them crackers behind them. They don't have the same kind of spirit. First of all, they look like they don't have no spirit anyway. They're zombies. They look like mannequins. You understand? So to me, they could be butt-ass naked on a block being sold. And that's the look that Venus has. Because they're focusing on her, whatever. It can't be because of the titty. It's something in her face, an uncertainty, a nakedness, a violation. Do you think that their father wanted them to end up like this? If you ask me, both of their minds are kind of screwed up. I understand that. But Venus is not as bad as Serena. See, Serena used to the slave master knocking on that door. She got so used to it when she heard him coming, she opened the door. Let that man come up inside of her. What were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking? And so, well, if it's love or something, no, he's an opportunistic whatever, because he gonna get that money. And he looked like the same guy that was making fun back in middle school of black girls' ass. Oh, the big fat ass, look at that. Oh my God, it's just too much. And meanwhile, you going home and looking at porn of women who look just like that, and you jacking your dick, wishing, hoping to hell. Oh, I would love to. Oh my God, that'd be so beautiful. If she can just sit on my face, oh my God, and just fart and just the juice for, But they make fun of you in front of everybody else. You walk into these slave dungeons that they call castles, but they're dungeons. And you could imagine how they felt when they had a second deck up with a so-called, what do you call him? A captain or slave master, whatever his name was a title. And especially the one at Osu and the one at Cape Coast, you can look over the water. Now, it's crude, but if you think in terms of back then, man, and you look at the view, then you forget it for us. You say, man, this is a damn good view. And it's rounded. You can see all over, and they see the ships coming and going. And they get up in the morning time or come around in the evening time and they look down in the areas where, and look, I'm here and I've been there. Y'all saw me crawling up in these crawl spaces, getting that GoPro video, getting that little cam. I'm going back very soon. And my challenge to myself, there's a little part where there's a door that's about maybe 4.5 feet tall. And you have to get down on your knees, maybe 4 feet. You got to get down on your knees and squeeze in there. And when you go deep, it probably goes about, I'd say, about 40 or 50 feet. And it's about 15 feet deep, no windows. It's just like sand, rubble, whatever, no light, no nothing. And I went 3 feet in from the door and I started dripping down sweat. And they say the mosquitoes are around biting up these people and they're getting malaria. Well, what I want to do, I have to. It's like a pilgrimage. I got to go down and touch that wall way in the back where I don't care if I got to go in there with underwear or whatever, some knee pads to stop my knees from messing up. That's weird. Just walking around with underwear and knee pads. What, you a gay bar or something? No. I'm going to go in there with my camera. It may not be this year, next year. I'm going to have to go again, look at it, get my mind right. But I'm going to go all the way down and you can't see that far back. You can't see it. But I want to go down in there where my brothers and sisters who came before me suffered. I want to know what that's like. I want to experience that so I can be more intense when I come out here and I see these people talking about a kumbaya moment. And they don't want to, it's just the past. No, it's present in us. If it wasn't present in us, look at Venus's face right now. Look at her face right now. As much fame as she has in their system, as much money as she has in their system, commercials and deals with big companies. Even when you're not swinging a tennis, racket, you're making money. Your father brought you along to put you in this position, a black man. But one of the things, you have to distance yourself from anything that looks like you. You have to have your consciousness pulled out and something else put in. And I never saw Venus and Serena's titties before when they were playing. Of course, you see the bulged out or whatever have you. That's how a woman's built. But like this, you think the father would be happy with this? And degrade them like this, that no matter how famous you are, no matter how much education you have, no matter how much you've rose up and ascended in their system, I'm going to say it this way, you just a goddamn bed wench. That's all it is. Because Venus, more than Serena, she remembers more so. I always had that feeling from her. I don't know. I didn't listen to any interview. I didn't hear her say anything like this. But to me, she got that look like, Daddy's not going to approve of this. Sitting up around all these white people. And we're world-class athletes, the greatest of all times. Of course, they're going to say lean towards Serena, but both of them to be sisters. And the legacy out there in the hoods, learning this, the father teaching them not just about that game, but about life. And to me, she looks like she's wondering, how did I get here? How did I get here? What happened? My daddy didn't raise me this way. It's like me when I was growing up, the way my parents raised me. There was a guy who came in the store with me. I went to school with him, but I wasn't hanging with him. And he was laughing and shoving stuff in his pockets. I got scared. I don't know, oppressor, but I'm like, you don't do that. I was about 8, 9 years. I'm like, you really gonna do that? Yeah, I do it all the time. I know another guy who told me how he would go to the supermarket on a Saturday when it's real crowded. He would dress very decent and he would go hungry now, didn't have much money. He couldn't steal and walk out. There's a little guy I knew from bodybuilding, right? Won't say his name or nothing. Pretty well-known bodybuilder too. He used to tell, and he was doing this up until to that day as a grown man. He said, this is what you do. You go and fill up your cart with all kind of items. You walk around real slow. You get you a nice long hero bread. You put it in the middle. You make a little valley and put it in the middle. You go get your mayonnaise. Go get your mustard. Go get a little bag of salad. Whatever you want to put on there now. You get your cheese. You get your ham. And you keep shopping. You know, you make it where nobody sees what's going on. And you bring your own little plastic fork or spoon. He said the spoon is better because you can scoop out more. And you slap that bad boy in. And you rip it apart in pieces. And you walk down the aisle and you get them bites on. And if you want, you can get a Sprite or a Coke or an orange or a grape soda and walk around the store. And he'd eat all of that stuff. And he'd push the cart to the side and walk out with a full stomach. That took balls. And he never got caught. I guess that's back in the days before technology was the way it was. But look, how many of us know that we're far off of the mark of what we should be? No matter how much worldly fame that we attain, we know deep in our hearts that our mothers and our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers would not approve of some of the things that we do. And I'm including the men in that. I'm not demonizing women. It's easy in this world to be tempted to fall off the mark. Those worlds that they're in, you couldn't imagine. See, I've never been in that world. But in New York City, from the things that I've done, I've been close to it. I'm not going to say lucked out, but I guess in my divine training for this period of my time to be able to speak on these things, I've been around a lot of that. You all know my journey, where I've worked and places I've been and jobs that I've done that I always ended up to see the difference. And even when I had my own little wild days in my own right, I never forgot. I never lost a grip on that lifeline. Like when you see the astronaut floating out in space away from the ship, that lifeline is connected to a suit. But if you're in the water and you're going down, you have this rope wrapped around you. You never lose sight of that or grip of that, because if you do, you'll be forever lost. Not just them, but how many sisters and brothers out here who've been chewed up and spit out, not just by Hollywood, but in the pursuit of that system, whether it be politics, whether it be athletics, even in the so-called religious world, that's just as carnal, if not more, than what you see there. That's why so many preachers and religious figures are sold out to celebrities. They keying with them just as much, and they both the damn devil. So how many have been lost? How many people had dreams and aspirations and thought this thing was legit? But if you can really know what that world is like, I've never been to their Hollywood parties, but I've been to parties. Hell, I used to throw my own, but it wasn't no evil, demonic, Illuminati stuff going on. But the things that I've seen, let me just throw one at you. I used to be a master. What, master of ceremonies? Master's degree? No. There's a situation where I was paid to whip someone with their wife present. Nothing sexual with me and the man, just smack him and cuss him out and all that stuff and violate his wife. Not aggressively, but just that kind of thing. And they paid me to do that. I was bugging out. I'm like, you paying me to do this? You paying me to speak out the resentment I have on the Caucasians at that time? You paying me, you fool? All I had to do was get in Farrakhan mode. You damn devil. Over 400 years of torture, rape, and rob of us as a people. You destroyed us. Pow! I loved it. I loved it. And that's why so many people go those ways to relieve their guilt. Let me tell you something. The biggest CEOs in certain companies and people who are high standing or people who are pricks in business, they go and they do their things to relieve that guilt. Yeah, they do. And so in those worlds, somebody of note found out about me. Lance, would you like to really come to a gathering of us who are deep into the S&M world? I was always curious about stuff, not no homo stuff, but just, I was like, yeah, I'll go. I want to see what this is all about. And I went there. I wasn't allowed into the deepest parts because I was somebody they didn't know. But in speaking to one of the ladies that was there, she said, do you have slaves? I was like, oh, shit. Excuse my French. I'm cussing a little bit more, but I got to bring it raw. And I tried to play it off. I said, yeah, I have several slaves. It wasn't a black-white thing with the slaves. It's white people. It could be anybody, but the brothers didn't really go for that. It was white people, you know, the gag ball, the ball in the mouth and all that stuff and being whipped and all that stuff, licking people's boots and everything. And she knew I was a fraud in that world. She says, well, how many branded slaves do you have? In order to join this organization, you have to have at least 10 branded slaves with your name, whatever the name was in the S&M world, of your name on them, on the arm, on the butt cheek, on the chest, wherever, because these people are corporate people most of the time and they have to hide. But if they're part of this thing, this group, and if you that bad and that deep in it, they'll submit and put your mark on them. And they will identify each other and they will know who else is there. That's crazy stuff. I didn't stay too long and I was out. So what I'm saying is that there are worlds out there that as we go through our time in life and we go to work and we come home, we have a family, we say, I'm not living an exciting life. I wish I was living a life like these stars. You know what? I don't think so. I don't think you really want that. I don't think that one day you want to have a look on your face like Venus Williams has on her face. It's much more than just a titty with her. The sister Serena is completely sold out, so she's numb to it. She lost the lifeline. She let it go. She's floating wherever she wants to go. But maybe Venus has a little bit more left in her, and she's thinking now. So we say, is Venus Williams' wardrobe malfunction really news? No, it's not. But to see that look on her face is more compelling to me as a man and one who likes to think righteous, because I can talk grimy like seasoning on food. But that's not all I think about. But when I see that picture, it's not her left titty that pulls my eye. It's the look on her face. And that's priceless, and not in a good way, because that's a lesson to everyone to know that you can't lose your way from what you know and what we're taught to be right. And if everybody comes back to that, if everybody brings himself back to that place, forget what you call yourself in the religious world. We are all spiritual beings. We're connected that way. Religion came after and is doing a good job to divide us. Let's shun all of those things. Let's stop presenting to each other, well, I'm a Baptist, well, I'm an African-American, or I'm an Episcopalian, or whatever it is, whatever. I'm Pentecostal. We worship different. Well, I mean, we all may have ways on a spiritual level of resonating differently. But come on, the enemy, he don't see none of that. He's like, you niggas keep on thinking you're separate and different because you might be closer to me in some organization, and I'm of this chapter of the Masonic Lodge, and so on. So even in that, you Prince Hall, that's the nigger part of the Masonic Lodge, and you don't have the power that the other ones have. We so quick to want to throw up signs and different things, and we can't have no damn unity amongst each other. So what good is it to push your chest up and say you are this, and I got this kind of sticker on my car, when you can't even look at your brother and see him as a brother, a real brother, even if you don't have the same damn handshake. That's our downfall. That's our problem. That we can't let all that shit go. Yeah, I'm cussing more. I'm getting older. I'm 59 in a couple weeks, April 8th. 60 after that. I'm going out blazing. I'm getting the Dick Gregory syndrome on me. I never heard him cuss when he was younger. Damn it, man, he started cussing out the daggone interviewer. Froth all in the corner of his mouth. No, I'm not going that way. I'm always wipe my mouth. But there comes a time where, after a certain time, when you look at a brother like that, and imagine if Malcolm could have lived longer, and some of the revolutionaries could have lived longer, how it would have broke their heart to see something like that. For what? What is it that they have that you want? You an athlete. You don't have to be sitting no damn where with your titty out for their approval to degrade yourself. If you walk in front of me with your titty out, I'm going to see you different. Not like they see you. I'm going to say, well, you're beautiful. You have a physical thing, whatever your breasts are for your children. I'm not looking at you that way. I know how to cut that off and cut that on. I got enough sense. Sister, you need something to put on? I'll give it to you. No problem. I ain't going to call up my friends. Yeah, I saw Venus Williams titty. Now, if it was Pam Grier, it'd be a different story. I'm just joking, y'all. What happened to that decency that we have? We see what we see, but we understand that there's a bigger picture here and how others see how we act with each other. And we don't move in a way that we don't want their respect. They don't respect us, but we don't move in a way that makes them respect us. We don't want nothing from them, but they got no choice. Every white man coming around in our neighborhood, looking at our sisters, looking to pick them up, even if they sell them, so they need to run them on out of there. You own a business as a black man, you looking at your sisters out there and you looking down on them. Get them a job, man, instead of looking for a damn blow job. Talk to them, get out, say, listen, you think I'm coming to you for this? Here's my card. I want to help my community. You're out here evidently for a certain reason, and I want to be the reason why you're off and out of here. Let's talk. I will pay all of you to sit down with me for an afternoon somewhere in a hall, and we're going to have a deep discussion about why you're out here. And we're going to present this to the so-called politicians who don't give a damn about nobody except themselves. And why is it that these young ladies here who are so beautiful have to go out and sell their bodies to make money to feed their kids? And why are some of them now so screwed up in their head that they don't want to work? I'm not saying it's always a righteous thing, because I've known many women who work that way. I used to drive a bunch of strippers slash prostitutes around for about 3 years when I had my van doing a thing in the street, driving the van. I went all up and down the East Coast with them. They paid me well for just driving them around because they trusted me. I didn't demand nothing out of them. They just offered it. I was like, whoa, you paying me that? Let's go. In the hotel rooms with them, when they're talking and crying to each other and speaking about things that hurt them. See, I'm seeing the same titties and ass that the guys are lusting at the night before and the next night. I'm seeing the same titties and ass that these guys are paying for to get off on their bodies with the things that they have in their head. These women were hurting, and brothers with lust in their mind. Oh, look at that. You think they love that? Don't you think they want to see a man? Not that they're looking for their father, but the same kind of fatherly love, decent, that example, or a young man who has that respect for them. Even when you respect them at first, they're so down in the hole sometime that they can't believe it. It's like a piece of chicken that was frozen and now it's thawing off because you're going to cook it later on. You don't put it in the pan, it's frozen. Some of these women are frozen from the trauma. You see a pretty face and a nice ass, and you don't understand the trauma behind that. I told you there's a young lady who was getting older in that thing, and she was in her 30s. And me and her used to hang out. I used to go over to her place sometime every other week when she called me. Like, Lance, come over. I need you tonight. And dudes would, because we established a very close relationship. It was a beautiful relationship. I have no shame in saying that. We never had sex. We would have these heart-to-heart talks. And I knew I was easing some pain out of her because she saw how I acted when I was around the other girls for up to a year. She's like, man, you're different. I'm not trying to say to you I'm different. In that respect, but I know that's what it is I am. But back in the day, all bets off. But I still had that thing because I had a very good and wonderful, full, wholesome relationship with my mother. She was an empath. Her only flaw was that she let my brother run over her, manipulate her. But you felt the love from her. You would tell her something that was heartbreaking and you'd see a tear come down her eye. I've seen this many times. And she would do whatever she could do to help. And even after she transitioned, I didn't have access to that book that had all the phone numbers in it. We didn't have smartphones back then. My brother took it to go beg money from people and act like, he was the only one doing something. He was on crack. But the people that found out up until about 3 or 4 years after she passed away, they found their way over to the house. They might have lived in different states. They said, "Is it true?" I said, "Yeah." I told them what happened. And they cried and they told me all the things that she did that never got any fanfare. And so there's a side of me like that. Now, on the other hand, there's a side will bust your ass like my father would. You know what I mean? Now, my father was a kind, loving man, but he protected her. He didn't let nobody take advantage of her, run stories on her, because sometimes, they try to get over on her kindness. And so that's why I'm that way with Mrs. SCURV. Mrs. SCURV, she's a rough customer when she realizes you're not on her side, but she has a kind heart. And there are people who have tried to be so nice and say the right words so they can save money in their pocket. You see, I ain't going for that. I let her slip a couple times, but no more. Anything she do, I'm not pimping nobody, but it got to come through me. I have a heart. She got more of a heart. But if you cross the wrong side, it's a whole different story. So we got to come out of these places that will make us have that look on our face. We got to come out of these places that take us and turn us out. Why? Because of that carrot of wealth dangling in front of us. Like the rabbit on the treadmill that sees the carrot and it keeps on running, not realizing it's never going to get it. Never going to get it, never going to get it, never going to get it. Woo, 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 woo. You ain't never going to get it. So why don't we get off the treadmill on a race that's taking us nowhere and come back to each other and realize that we made misjudgments and mistakes and different things and our distractions. It's okay if you're distracted, but the bad part is if you realize you're distracted and you're off path, that you don't try to get back on track. I've been off track many times. I've made some foolish mistakes with women, getting involved with somebody I shouldn't have gotten involved with, but I was very distracted by what I saw. We got to learn how to control ourselves and put things where they belong. Because when we're driven just in a sex-only thing, our sexuality as Black people is powerful. It's powerful. I always made a joke. I said sometime my orgasms are so strong, everybody in a 5-mile radius around me came. Everybody humping air. I don't know where that came from, but you were sitting up in the Walmart, you start humping. We powerful. And we don't even realize it. And just like when they used to do things with Black women and not give them the painkillers and the shots that they need, and they would, because Black women can just take pain. What's that statue they took down in Central Park? Was he a gynecologist or something? And he would experiment on Black women and just experiment. What's the woman with the big backside? Clara something or something Barton, whatever her name was. And they had her in a circus just because of her backside. And there was nothing no different than I see now. That's why these people are parasites and aliens, evil. They mask it to get what they want. And they look back with no heart because they have none. Never expect them to have any sympathy or love, any heart for you. You'll save yourself a whole lot of anguish. And for the ones that do prove to be nice, they will understand. And if they prove or they show or say they're nice and they don't act it and don't stand up actively, you can't deal with them. Because behind closed doors, you can say anything. Well, I support the Black Revolution. And they get around their friends. They look at you like they don't even know you. Scratch them off the list. Don't even hope for it. Number one, don't even wish for that because it ain't real. Yes, thank you, Samuel Warwick. Yes, I haven't been looking at the chat room. I know there's a lot of great Superman. I see you. And Shay, yeah, Black sexuality is global energy. That's why they try to control it. You're fascinated by it. We talk about nuclear bombs, but we're the nuclear bomb, not just because of sex, but all the energy that we have, the brilliance that we have. Shay, you down here in the motherland, you see some brothers out here who might be dirt poor, some of them, not everybody, but they find a way to make money. They find a way to sustain themselves. They find a way, and they're ruthless and they're righteous dealings to make it. This is what we need to get back. But many of us in America are sitting home and, well, you know, I'll wait for my pension to take care of me. Yeah. I'm retired. I get a pension. You think I'm sitting around thinking I'm going to get this forever when the system's about to crash? I'm trying to get as many dollars as I can out the system to get things that I need in hand to sustain myself. Let's not get it twisted. We have a lot of soul searching to do. And I tell you, I will continue tomorrow, the same time. It'll be a rant every day. I'm going to rant on something every day. Ain't no just, we're going to have a nice conversation. No, I'm going to have a righteously angry rant every single damn day, Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'm a little scruffy right now. That's why I didn't show my face. But tomorrow I will. Maybe. Definitely on Wednesday. I got some work to do early, and all in my morning and my afternoon, it's going to be taken up. You'll know what I'm doing, right? So anyway, just know that I love you all. And it's real out here, y'all. And everything that looks to be a certain way may not be that way. But the main thing is, don't pass off the illusions to our children. Tell them the real deal. We think that our children can't take certain things. Yet they get on their phone and they know the deal. They go on Google and search everything, and we soft shoe it for them. And sometimes they lose respect for us because they want to hear the real deal. It's best that you tell the real deal to your children than let them go find out in the schoolyards or get indoctrinated by the very enemy you send your children to, when it should be homeschooling from this point on. It's a lot that we have to talk about. And I'm not going to shy away from talking about anything at all. And like I said, the bottom line, if you want to contact me about a topic, there's my contact information down there. Email me. Text don't go through as good, but just email me. Right there, Lance@Lancescurv.com. Just put topic in the header. You can write a long one. You can write a short one. I also have a way on Lancescurv.com that you can send me a private message. Nobody else will see it other than me on the website. Sign up to the website. When I shoot out my notifications, they have nothing to do with YouTube, because YouTube will send out possibly 15, 20, 12 notifications out of over 108,000 people, where that number is going down. Subscribe to the channel. That's why I hide the number. I don't want no haters on me, but the number doesn't matter. Mr. SCURV, Lance, the number don't matter. It's who comes and listens and vibes, and we build. I'm not trying to start any cult. I'm not trying to change how you look at me or how you view me. I'm presenting myself as I am. I can speak very decent and upstanding, and I can get gutter with the best of them, and the full range in between. But one thing's for sure, with me, at this part of my life, I ain't holding back. Much love to you all. I will talk to you soon. Send me a message, and let's just keep this thing going, because we're going to come hard now. We're going to come hard. And I don't mean the sexual way. That's nice too. But we have to come hard, because do you realize how much time has gone on? Really? 2022? Look at the world the way it is. Did you expect this? Depending on your age, did you expect this 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? I never expected this. When I was a jolly young teenager, walking around the streets of New York City, back in the late 70s and early 80s, and on the way up, gathering all this data and experiences so I can use it now in this time. I didn't know what's happening to me. This is always stuff. I'm always seeing stuff, experiencing stuff, and now I know why. Because of this period here where I can talk and share things. I don't have any degrees. I don't have any letters, but I damn sure have a lot of experiences, and I have no problem sharing them here with you. And that's from me to you, and that's how much I love my people, even when I got to spank them sometime. I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whatever the subject is, we'll find out. Something's going to happen tomorrow. We're going to talk about it. But it's always going to be straight from the hip and from the heart. But it's all love. Peace.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out of my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. All that I crave when you're away, nights are sleepless. Do we need space? Yeah, maybe a break. Boy, you're my weakness. Even we take the love that we make, it's my favorite drug. Too caught up in your love. I've been trying to forget, but you won't let me. Something in my brain wants you. I've been hanging by myself, asking for help, but nothing seems to work on you. Yeah, you always make me feel like home. Yeah, you never leave my thoughts alone. Yeah, you're the reason I'm going out of my mind. I just can't stop thinking about you. You got me feeling some type of way. You make me wanna stay in all day. You're the reason I can't get out of my head. I just can't stop thinking about you. 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 I just can't stop thinking about you.